playful shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, just some social shit for everyone, you know what I'm saying? Like, I made this be myself, so hear me. Woo! I mean, like, we can pull that clown shit away. There's some real shit for you. I'm spazzing right now, so listen, let's go. Yeah. It's in their bones, the thugs in harmony for the love of the money. Then fall victim for the cookie, then turn pussy, it's lonely. You said you hold it down when life get rough, we're here now, so show me. We move them losses to them wins. Heavy pounds, we make it ends meet. Converse of only few who make me feel like I be 10 feet.
Yo, what's going on, peeps? Back in the building, man. I hope everyone's blessed. Hope everyone had a great Christmas period. It's done now. We're done and dusted. Of course, the football is back in full effect. I might do it now. You know what? I was gonna do a reaction video to the Liverpool versus Leicester City game, but I said, nah. You guys have already probably watched about 20 of those at this current moment in time. We're coming up towards the end of the year, man. I wanted to do some more fun videos, man. Some more, you know, good, enticing conversations. And of course, as I mentioned before, if you guys watch my Mo Salah versus Hazard, you know, conversation, yeah, there's, you know, certain conversations that have been popping up quite a lot, right? And this one I thought about, and obviously you can see in the caption, you can see in the title and stuff like that. Like, I was thinking about this for time, guys. Make sure you're smashing the like, sharing, and subscribing, man, because this one took me a minute, and I know for a fact that you guys will not agree with all of the picks that I do have, but it doesn't even really matter, man. This is why we do the videos, man. Let's create some conversation. You guys tell me your thoughts and opinions. Leave them, of course, in the comment section. But today I'm going to give you my top 20 greatest Premier League players. Now, as I said before, it's difficult. This wasn't easy, bro. Like, there were so many different things I had to think about. There were so many things I had to, you know, take into consideration, and, you know, all of that kind of good stuff. Obviously, when I looked at it, I was like, okay, cool. So man's got to put like a criteria sort of obviously together. And obviously I saw one here online, like, that already had like their own kind of like criteria. I was like, you know what, this is probably the best criteria that I can possibly, you know, find. Obviously you can see here longevity, trophies, goals, assists. It's got clean sheets, but I haven't got any goalkeepers in my top 20, so you don't have to worry. And individual awards. Now, obviously I did not watch football in 1992. Let me not lie to you. I would say maybe from 96/97. So there might be a couple, maybe. I don't want to spoil it too soon. Of course, I want you guys to, you know, watch like the whole video. But there might be one or two players where I didn't see a lot of them, but what I did see was good enough. Plus research, history. Yeah, I mean, it's only been like a few years before that, and, you know, all of that kind of good stuff. Like, this ain't one of them ones where I'm putting in like since the first division title ever began, and I'm putting in man like Kenny Dalglish and that. Nah, it's not going to be that deep. It's just Premier League, people. So yes, the Premier League started in 1992, so that's where we're going to kind of go from. Obviously there's going to be some new school players in there, and I know some people, like I said, you're not going to agree with every, you know, every single thing, you know, that I kind of put, you know, in there, because it's just, yeah, that's just kind of like the way it is when it comes to these kind of things, man. Like, it's, yeah, it's just one of those, you're just not going to agree, right? And that's absolutely fine. Like I said, I've got no beef whatsoever. All I ask is please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. Let me know your top 20. Which ones should I have changed? Who would you have thrown in there? Again, there's going to be ones where you guys are going to be like, bro, gee, how can you forget this, and how can you do that, and, you know, yada yada yada. But listen, without further ado, let's kind of, you know, get ourselves into it. All right, let's start off with number 20. So number 20, I've gone with Rio Ferdinand. Now, this one was kind of difficult. This one was kind of difficult because it was like I had to think. It was between Rio and Harry Kane, right? And I had to think like, all right, do I put Kane in there because Kane is obviously Kane, and, you know, yada. But then I thought, nah, I can't really put, you know, I can't really put Harry Kane in there because obviously, as we saw before, one of the main criteria obviously was trophies. He ain't won no trophy. Like, I'm talking none. Like, I would have given him a Bly if you had like an FA Cup here or a League Cup there. You've got no trophies. Obviously, with Harry Kane, he's got the longevity, yeah, of course. Like, he's been banging goals in the Premier League for God knows how long. Got the goals. He's got the assist. He's got the individual awards in England anyway. Not really European. That was something that I found kind of a bit weird. I thought he had, but he doesn't really have that European recognition, you know, so to speak. But ultimately, I had to choose, and I've always said that I felt like Rio Ferdinand is literally one of the best, you know, defenders ever in the Premier League history, you know, and he was the first one, in my opinion, and one of the first few centre backs I ever saw who was a proper good ball playing centre back before it was even really called that. Did you get what I'm trying to say? Like, you know, back in the days when we think about it in terms of the Premier League and just English football, how it was, there was just two centre backs, you know, and they just did centre back things. And obviously now football's a bit different. You need your centre back to be fantastic on the ball and all this kind of stuff. But back then it wasn't really like that. But he kind of showed like, no, I'm dope on the ball. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Won numerous Premier Leagues. He's won the Champions League. You know, this is a phenomenal defender, man. And I think, yeah, man, like in my opinion, he deserves his props. Hence the reason why I've obviously got him in at number 20. Number 19, we got Dennis Bergkamp, Mr. No-Fly Zone at all. Yo, Dennis Bergkamp, yeah. I still don't even know the story, and I don't want to make fun in case, like, it's, you know, it's a proper serious thing. I'm not here to do that, and I don't want to piss off any Arsenal fans. But I never understood why he never used to fly. That used to just be like, why doesn't he like flying? But maybe again, because it's flying, I know it must be something, you know, childhood, you know, trauma and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll leave that, you know, as it is. But listen, man, this guy, to me, he's still the scorer of the greatest goal I've ever seen in the Premier League. Like that, we all know the goal I'm talking about. It's the goal against Newcastle where he took that touch left foot and then finished it off with his right foot. It's that was the maddest goal I have ever seen. And we've seen some bangers. Overhead kicks, long ranges, free kicks, volleys, bro. That in itself, just the skill and the movement, you know, was absolutely phenomenal. But when we talk about someone like Dennis Bergkamp, man, like I feel like he was one of the first few like superstars to really come. You know, I think came from Inter Milan, I want to say, obviously Dutch international, and this guy was just like. It was weird, you know, when I first saw him, like when I first saw him anyway in the Premier League, like let's say noticed him, let's say 97, 98, should I say. I remember watching this guy thinking, yeah, like he's just got something about him. He's got this skill when he's on the ball. You know, the way that he kind of runs, he doesn't look like he's fast. You know, and he wasn't, you know, particularly quick, but he can glide with the ball. You know, he had fantastic touches. You know, and he just had this kind of like aura, but he also seemed like a calm kind of individual. I think he's got a few red cards. I'm not 100% sure, but he just seemed like a calm guy on the pitch. He just seemed so smart on the pitch, man. And I used to think, nah, obviously, listen, he didn't bag bare goals in the Premier League. Obviously, you know, unbeaten with Arsenal and stuff like that. But he wasn't like a scorer of like many goals. Like I don't look at him and think, yeah, he's the 30-goal striker. He really wasn't that. He was kind of one of the first where it was like, it didn't matter that he didn't score that many goals because what he was doing on the pitch with the skill, the guile, you know, the dribbling, the technique and all that kind of stuff. I used to think, yo, this Bergkamp guy is sick. And he was a fantastic partner to Thierry Henry. And I think that's what made their relationship so good, was that he was just a fantastic partner. And it's hard to really find those at a top level consistently who you don't really mind isn't really scoring, but the team is still successful, like madly successful. Obviously with Arsenal, you know, Arsene Wenger, I think winning 3 Premier League titles and FA Cups and all this kind of stuff. Like he was so good, man. I used to rate him highly. Like he's a proper technician, proper technician, man. So big up to Dennis Bergkamp. Virgil in at number 18. Virgil in at number 18. This one was like weird to place. The next few actually were like weird to place. I feel like you could have put them in anywhere. With Virgil, yeah, it's not a question of his ability. He's got the ability. I think he's one of. I think with him, listen, it depends on. It depends on what your opinion is on football in a general sense. I always feel like Virgil is that guy. It's like what's your opinion on football? I'll know by the way you speak about Virgil van Dijk. I think he is one of the best defenders to ever play in the Premier League. Would I say he is the best defender? I don't know. I couldn't really hang my hat on, but I wouldn't argue if someone said yes, he's the best. I'll be like, okay, fair. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not one of the ones where I would argue that case, kind of thing. You know, there might be a few others that I might be like, nah, you can't really. Is he really the best? Like, but he's not one of those ones. Like, because when you think of it just on pure ability, this guy's a pro. Like, you're not getting past this guy. He's strong. He's quick. He's good on the ball. He can pass. Like, he's got all the. It's funny. He's got all the same things that Rio actually has. I just think that there's something different about the way that maybe, again, like I say, era of football, right? Maybe it's because of how football is today than how it was back in the day. You know, in terms of how the way teams play and the way that teams set up tactically and stuff like that. That it just looks different, but I do think he's very similar with in regards to like Rio Ferdinand. I don't think there's much difference in terms of the style of the player that we're talking about. Obviously, I don't think Rio had maybe I say passes, but I mean Virgil really only has like that one pass out to Salah, really and truly. So maybe it's the same, but like we know, and I've seen Virgil take free kicks and slap them top bins for Celtic. You know what I mean? Obviously, I know this is Premier League, but I've seen that. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's a bit annoying that I haven't really seen it for Liverpool, but yeah, listen, man, Virgil is a fantastic player. You know, at his peak of his powers, this guy was, you know, challenging for the Ballon d'Or. You know, so that in itself is like, ooh, yeah, that's why I put him in ahead of, you know, Rio Ferdinand in this list. Because yes, when it comes to trophies, unfortunately for the Liverpool guys, it's kind of peak. That the Liverpool players I've got in here, it's peak for them because yeah, you ain't won that much in terms of trophies in England, in terms of titles and stuff like that, whereas everybody else on the list have won numerous, you know, probably 4 to 5 minimum, you know, amount of titles. But yeah, when it comes to Virgil, listen, man, I think he's a top defender. Probably Liverpool's best buy in recent history. If you think about it, you know, under 𝐬𝐭 Klopp and stuff like that. Without him, I don't even know where Liverpool would be, you know, in a general sense. So yeah, man, I have to big up to Virgil, but yeah, I've got him in at number 18. 17. Now, this is where 17 and 16, you'll see the two coming up. I'll show you now, actually. Number 16 is obviously Didier Drogba. I feel like you could have put these two in any order. So I didn't really, I was just like, I just went with Sergio Aguero first. You know, I think Sergio Aguero was phenomenal for me. He was so phenomenal. Like when he came in, you know, to Manchester City, scoring on his debut and stuff like that. Like this guy, from the moment he came, you know, from when we saw him, you know, plotting up for Atletico, it's like you kind of knew, yeah, okay, yeah, this brother's gonna, you know, do a madness and this, that, and the third. You know, he's coming off a season where he scored 27 goals in all competitions. I'm looking here now, first season for Manchester City, 31 goals in all comps, you know, for Manchester City. Next season, he only got 17, but he was always someone who used to always get injured. But when I'm looking here at his record, yo, this brother's always scoring goals. So obviously 31, then 17, 28, 32, 29, 33, 30, 32, 23. Heck, even got 6 in his last one for Manchester City in the 2021 season. But this brother was just, and he could score so many bangers. It was dumb. Scoring so many bangers. It was dumb. It was dumb. It was dumb. And I just think the type of striker that he was phenomenal, man. He was really, really phenomenal. He was a headache. He was a headache. But talking of headaches, this guy is the ultimate freaking headache. Like when we're talking about like strikers, and obviously, by the way, with Sergio Aguero, of course, won bare trophies with Manchester City. So, you know, that also helps his case as well. But you know, when we're talking about like annoying strikers, and the thing is, you're talking about annoying strikers that you don't really understand. Like when the goals, yeah, when it comes to Didier Drogba, I don't think they really compare in like it's you can't really compare it to like a Sergio Aguero, because Aguero would score more in terms of for how long he was here. Obviously, Drogba was here in the Premier League for a hot minute, but just in a general sense, you know, Drogba wouldn't score bare goals. Like I'm looking here, first season 16, next 16, then he had a 33, then 15, 14, then a mad 37, 13, 30. Like 30 would be like he only had 2 seasons where he hit 30 plus, and even in those 2 seasons, those are like outliers because the rest are like under 20. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So when you think about it, you're like, yeah, this brother never really used to bag goals like that. You know what I mean? There is a myth to think that he did, but this is why you had to watch him. This is why stats sometimes ain't going to be able to tell you everything that you think you're going to actually hear. This brother, when I'm telling you now, people, I'm telling you now, when it comes to Didier Drogba, at one point, this guy was he was a menace. He was a problem. Like, defenders couldn't handle him. No defenders. The Rios, the Jamie Carragher's, the John Terry's, like, even though it's on the same team, but these men are not handling Didier Drogba. It's a myth. And the thing is, he would come up trumps, finals. This brother is scoring. You need a guy for a final. You don't even call Henry. Do you know what I mean? And we all know Henry's like considered to be the GOAT in the Premier League. You don't call Henry. You call this guy. You literally call this guy, man. Ridiculous. Such a clutch player, man. And I had to give him his respect. So that's why he was just above Aguero. But again, like I said, either or. Like, I'm not gonna fight you on, oh yeah, that's up to you. Do you know what I mean? You can have that battle, you know, by yourself. But yeah, I thought Didier Drogba, absolutely immense. And in at number 15, we got the best fullback, in my personal opinion, and that is Ashley Cole. He's the best fullback, left back, right back, whatever. He is the best for me. He is the best, better than all of them. Gary Neville, Dennis Irwin, Trent, Walker, all of them. He is number one. Could defend and attack. That's all I need. That's all I need. I don't care about the assist records. I don't care how many passes into the fucking final third he had. I don't give a shit about any of that. I actually don't care. He was elite at both things, in my personal opinion, man. Fantastic defender. Of course, I'm part of the unbeaten, you know, Arsenal team. The black defense, I used to call it. He was just phenomenal, man. Honestly, the best fullback I've ever seen in the Premier League. I really, and it's so mad, yeah. Where I feel like, you know, like with the other fullbacks that you might name, bar maybe Gary Neville, but I don't think he gets thrown into conversations, rightly so, because obviously, you know, he was part of the Manchester United squads. But you know, when you think about it, this brother was good at everything. Like, he was actually just good at everything. Like, you know, with the other ones, like mainly the Trents and the Walkers, probably would be the other two that you would throw in there, right? They have this one outstanding quality, and the rest of it is kind of a bit meh, a bit, yeah, it's all right. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's not shit, but it's okay. Whereas I feel like he was good at everything. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Yes, I don't even know what his assist record is. It's so mad. You don't even care. One, because it's a whole different era and stuff like that. But more importantly, like, when you watched Ashley Cole, of 1v1, you're not beating Ashley Cole. I know, obviously, people are going to say, what about Ronaldo? Yeah, cool. Listen, Ronaldo's Ronaldo. You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason why Ronaldo went on to become one of the greatest players in football history. You get what I'm trying to say? So that's just one of them ones. But in a general sense, Cole was so good, man. Last-ditch tackles, I remember, you know, Cole saving his team at times. Like, but it was just in 1v1s. That's one thing I used to always rate about him. I used to always think, bro, it's hard getting past this guy, you know? Like, you cannot get past this guy. I don't know what it is about him, but you just can't get past him. You just cannot get past him, man. So yeah, man, honestly, for me, Ashley Cole, one of the absolute best defenders, man. But let me go through the top, the 20 to 15. So obviously at 15, we obviously got Ashley Cole. 16, we got Didier Drogba. Sergio Aguero in at 17. Virgil van Dijk in at 18. Dennis Bergkamp in at 19. And of course, we have got Rio Ferdinand in at number 20. Now, let's move on to number 14. Number 14, I have got in Roy Keane. Now, obviously, when it comes to Roy Keane, right? Like, here I am getting stumped. I think with Roy Keane, I do think he's a little bit underrated as a player. I feel like because of this persona and this like hard man type of image and bully type of player, people don't actually like Keane could ball. Keane could actually play ball. Obviously, the nerds, you know what I mean, the young nerds and that I see on social media, they're probably not even really checking for something like Keane. That's fair, because there's like I've got him in at 14. So that means there's at least 13 other players better than him. Do you get what I'm saying? So I get it. Yeah, I'm trying to say I get it. But I promise you, Keane could ball. I promise you, Keane can play football. He can pass. He can tackle. You know, he box-to-box midfielder. You know, he could actually score goals as well. Like, he was a good midfielder, man. Good midfielder. And of course, captain to United to titles and stuff like that. Like, he was someone who really put, you know, his body on the line, like for the team kind of thing. He was all, like, as much as I feel like he had this persona in terms of, you know, a bit selfish and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. I'll keep it a buck, man. Like, I felt like he did all this because he knew, bro, there has to be one guy. Like, there's obviously always got to be this one guy who kind of maybe pushes the boundaries a little bit, but in terms of on the pitch and football wise, like, he just wants to win. Like, he was such a, he had the elite mentality that I would see from, like, that people would say from like a Messi or Ronaldo or Salah or something like that. For me, he had that, and if anything, I feel like he even had more. Just didn't have the ability of those guys. That would always be the difference. But if he had the ability, well, you would be talking about one of the best players in any generation. This guy would always do anything to gain an advantage. But if it means getting sent off, I'm getting sent off. How about that? If I got injured this guy, I got injured this guy. I don't really care about all of that. I just want to win. I'm just trying to win. I don't care about the other team. I don't care what they're doing. You know, Roy Keane was absolutely immense. And obviously, I'm looking here. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Premier Leagues, Champions League. Obviously, he missed the final. How many FA Cups? 1, 2, 3, 4 FA Cups. Like, won the Scottish League with Celtic as well when he went there. Listen, man, he's a phenomenal player. He's named in the PFA Team of the Century as well. Like, I'm looking at some of these individual awards, man. He's phenomenal, man, phenomenal. I have to give Keane his respect, man. 13, Frankie Lampard. This one was difficult. Yeah, this section actually I found kind of difficult trying to, you know, place some of these players. Actually, this one was a bit tricky still. Lampard. I think Lampard is one of the best midfielders to ever play in the Premier League. And it was more the sheer fact that, I mean, I'm looking here, really look at it. I mean, from 03, 04 onwards, right? First of all, the guy was playing like 50 odd matches a season, which is ridiculous. I mean, he played 50 plus for about 1, 2, 3, 4 seasons in a row, which is crazy. But when you're looking at 15 goals, 19, 20, 21, 20, 20, 27, 13, 16, 17, like this is striker numbers. You know what I mean? Like, this is for a striker who is just calm. You get what I'm trying to say? This is a midfielder, you know? Midfielder doing, like, this is all competitions, obviously, of course. This is a midfielder that we're talking about. And these are the kind of numbers that you're even obtaining. Like, that's mad. That is mad. I mean, he got 09, 010, he got 22 goals in the Premier League alone. You know what I'm saying? Alone. His best scoring season. And from what I can see here, like, listen, man, Frank Lampard was a dope midfielder, man. He was dope. He was always like, I used to always think, like, when it comes to Frank Lampard, I used to think, like, yeah, like, you're not, like, you just score bare goals. Like, I don't know, like, you always seem to be in the right place at the right time. Always. Like, without fail, you're always there. Like, obviously, again, another one like Dennis Bergkamp, they just work well with their striker. You know what I'm saying? Him, Didier Drogba, bro, like, or him and whoever. Didn't even really matter if it was Drogba or Costa or whoever was there at the time. No, I don't think Costa, but whoever was there at the time, like, just didn't matter, man. Like, this guy, man, and he was one of the soldiers for Jose Mourinho. Him and JT were sold, and Drogba, to be fair, them man were like the soldiers for Jose Mourinho during his period of time, you know, in the Premier League with Chelsea, man. And yeah, I always felt like, nah, Frank Lampard, man, he seems like a bit of a quiet one. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't seem like he's really out here making up too much noise. Again, I don't really know, you know, too tough. But I mean, when you think about it, you know, the individual awards are dumb. I mean, Premier League Hall of Fame, of course. You've got, he was in the UEFA Euro team of the tournament 2004. He's been the UEFA Midfielder of the Year 2008, FIFA Pro World 11. He was in that as well. He's got the most assists in the Premier League for 1, 2, 3 seasons. Heck, he got it back to back in 08, 09 and in 09, 010. Premier League Player of the Season. Yeah, man. yeah. Now, Frankie he was a bad man when he was here, man. He was a real bad man, real top player, man. I have to respect him still. Patrico, yo, real Don Dada, you know, real Don dada. Again, another one of the Arsenal invincibles. Fantastic player, man. Listen, Henri, Arsene Wenger was, fun fact, by the way, fun fact. When I was younger, I used to think, yeah, that Arsene Wenger was his name because he managed Arsenal. I don't know if I'm the only one who actually thought that, but I'll say it here, I'm not ashamed. Yeah, I mean, 2025, man. You know what I mean? We're not 2025, man. We just say how it is. I used to think that. I genuinely used to think, oh, that was his name. Like that wasn't his real name. Like wrestling. Like his name isn't really The Rock. Like he has got a real name kind of thing. And I just used to think, oh, he calls himself that because thing. But then it's so dumb because then you don't, it's not like anybody else had a name that was similar to the club that they managed, which was always done. But I just used to think that with Arsene Wenger. I used to think, oh, Arsene Wenger, because he manages Arsenal, so he named himself. Okay, yeah, I get it. I did not get it. I did not get it. But yeah, Patrick Vieira in at number 12. What more can we really say about this guy, man? Like this guy, 3 Premier League titles. You got 4 FA Cups whilst he was here. Fantastic player, man. Really, really, obviously World Cup winner as well and stuff like that. Like he was a real good player. He's in a lot of the team of the Premier League teams of the year, UEFA team of the year in 01 as well. Premier League Hall of Famer, Premier League overseas team of the decade, Premier League overall team of the decade. Like, he's actually English Football Hall of Fame. Golden Foot Legends Award. I don't even know what the hell that is, but he got that recently. Like, yeah, listen, Patrick Vieira, monster in the midfield. Monster. I think he was just a little bit better than a Roy Keane in terms of on the ball, off the ball, smart kind of guy, could pass the ball, again, that kind of box to box, could play in the DM, the central midfield in that kind of 8 position, whatever the hell you want to call it. If I reckon if they needed him further forward, he could do that as well. I remember the goal I think he scored against Tottenham, I think it was. I remember thinking, wow, that's Vieira. Took the finish well, boy. But yeah, no, Vieira was the leader. He was the boss, in my opinion. When I looked at the Arsenal team when he was captain, I just looked at him and think, nah, you're the boss, and obviously where his size and stature as well, like he just used to command that kind of level of respect. Like I used to think, yeah, this guy he's a real Don Dada. He's a real Don Dada, man. So big up to Patrico. And in at number 11, we got JT. The best goal scoring defender that I can think of. I think he won 5 Premier Leagues with Chelsea. Mr. Chelsea, as they probably like to call him. Phenomenal defender, really good defender. Like, yeah, he was excellent, man. When I think about it now, yeah, he was actually kind of excellent, for Chelsea, and he was good on the ball, man. And the thing with him, yeah. Everyone talks about, oh, yeah, can this player play in that era or this era or blah, blah, blah. It's always funny. I always think with JT, I don't really think it matters what era. He was so smart because he wasn't the quickest defender. He wasn't like mad fast, but he was so smart. Even when he comes up against those quick defenders, whether it be like the Torreses of this world or like, whoever, like it doesn't really matter. This guy was always seemingly in the right place at the right time. And he was the best. If I need a goal from a defender, there's 2 defenders I always think about: John Terry and Sergio Ramos. If I ever need goals, there's no other defenders who have that kind of instinct than these 2 in terms of just defenders. These 2, for some weird reason, goals, late goals, important goals, especially Sergio Ramos as well. Like, that's just their thing. That was always their kind of thing, man. And I think JT, man, he listen, off-field stuff. Yeah, I'm saying he's a bit of a waste man, but on the field, yeah. Like he was a real boss on the field. I can't even lie, man. And it makes sense why people speak about him in the way that they do in terms of football, because he was actually a top defender, man. Honestly, top defender, man. So big up to him, man. Big up to him. In at number 10, we're getting closer to the end. Guys, please make sure you are smashing the like. Please make sure, again, I know obviously the chapters and stuff will be there and you might have skipped already through, but it'll be good if you just let me know your kind of thoughts on some of the players. Again, I'm just really rapping about, the players that themselves, of course, but listen, let me know your thoughts in the comment section by the time the video ends. Number 10, I've gone with Paul Scholes. This guy was, obviously because we were able to see it, because we was able to see that Barcelona midfield, probably the best team we've ever seen in, I don't even know, in any generation, because we was able to see it. Players like Paul Scholes. It's so weird. I always say this. because of that Barcelona team, Paul Scholes looks better. I think Paul Scholes is a dope player in his own right, but because of that Barcelona team, and just yeah, I mean, just work with me. Because of that Barcelona team, we were able to see a midfield that didn't need a Patrick Vieira or Claude Makelele type of defensive midfielder, and then 2 8s like a Gerrard or a Lampard or whatever. Like we didn't. It was like we didn't need to see all of that. We saw a man who could just ball out in the midfield, kind of thing. All of them, every single one of them, from Busquets to Xavi to Iniesta. We just saw players who can ball out, right? Technical ability on 100, could pass a ball, you know, all of this kind of stuff. Scholes was like he could have fitted, in my opinion, he could fit into that midfield. He's someone I looked at and thought, nah, this brother is he's a madman. He's actually a madman. Like some of his technical ability and some of the things he used to do, you know, and again he had like early Scholes. First of all, I think Scholes come through as a striker from what I can remember, but early Scholes was doing Lampard stuff. That's why I've got him in ahead of Lampard, because he was doing Lampard before Lampard was even here. You know what I'm saying? Late runs into the box, scoring goals and stuff like that. You know, when the fringe used to come over Scholes' head and that. Yeah, you end up remember. Like, go check it out, man. Like, Scholes was doing Scholes stuff for a minute. For a minute. Like, he was a real baller. Real baller. And just, it's like when he got older, he just got smarter. It's like it's like he was one of the ones, obviously in Premier League terms, obviously we see it in like other countries like the Polos and stuff like that. But in the Premier League, in English football terms, he was the one who just got smarter as he got older. Whereas some players, they just kind of waned with their ability. It's like he just went from strength to strength. Heck, Sir Alex Ferguson had to call this brother back from out of retirement just so that can you imagine that? Can you imagine the great Sir Alex Ferguson saying, bro, I need your help. I need your help. I need your help. Man comes and scores against Manchester City. It was mad. It was mad. But listen, man, Paul Scholes, absolute boss, man. Really good player. And I really fucked with him. But let's go back through from, what was it, from 14 to 10. So obviously in at number 14, we have got Roy Keane. 13, we've got Frankie Lampard. In number 12, we've got Patrick Vieira. Number 11, we have got John Terry. And in at number 10, we have got Paul Scholes. Now, let's go on to 9 to 5, the working man's house. Stevie G. Yeah, Liverpool fans probably going to crack this one. This one's going to be hilarious, the next couple. Got Stevie G in at number 9. I think between the three midfielders, it all would probably depend on what you actually wanted from a midfielder. I think he probably just about edges it. I do think that the others have stuff over him, but as an overall, I think he maybe just edges it. Like, because he was good at everything. He was it. Like I can't diss, you know, I can't diss him in that kind of sense. He was generally good at everything. Could pass, he could tackle, he could score goals. You know, he had a whole team on his club on his back for like however many years. Pause. Yeah, now Stevie G was just Stevie G, man. Like honestly, like we all remember when you're younger. You know, when you used to shoot a football and you would shout, you know, Gerrard, like kind of thing. Like you know, that's just what it was. You know, back in the day, kind of old school. The amount of individual awards he won was ridiculous. Obviously, no Premier League, so I couldn't put him any higher, so to speak. Obviously, on pure, like Van Dijk, on pure ability, if you said, all right, no trophies will matter in the decision making of this, then yeah, obviously you'd be putting a lot of these players in different positions, right? And obviously we'll come to, you know, the Premier League all-time 11. But when we're talking about all the points, longevity, yeah, I would say yes, he's got that. Obviously goals, assists, he's got that. Trophies, he's got other trophies. Do you know what I mean? In his time here, he definitely has other trophies, but he's the only one. Let me just think without kind of ruining it. Yeah, he's the only person on this list who has no Premier League trophy, and that counts for something. That does count for something. It's a bit like, well, it's not obviously. I was going to say it's a bit like Harry Kane, but Harry Kane won nothing. So yeah, that will count against him. And it's kind of a big one. I do put trophies up there. I really do put trophies up there because the two go hand in hand anyway. I'll be honest, the two do actually go hand in hand. Like we can't act like it's not the B's and E's, It's not going to be the bees and knees, but the two do go hand in hand. Like it's all great players win trophies. All of them do. There's no great player that you can think of who hasn't won a trophy. And again, Harry Kane is that exception to that rule. And he's probably the only one I can realistically think of. Everyone else is like they've won multiple trophies. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Obviously, Gerrard's got the FA Cups, got League Cups. He's got that Champions League as well. You know what I mean? Champions League is what probably saves him in most conversations. I'll be so honest with you. If he didn't have that, I don't know, man. Gerrard will be further way down this list. You know, I cannot lie. That Champions League saves him. That Champions League saves him. But listen, phenomenal player. Like I said, man, he was really the only real shining beacon, you know, for Liverpool at one stage, at one time. But yeah, listen, man, I like Gerrard. He's a good player, man. He's a good player. But I like this guy even more, though. I like this guy even more, though. What are you telling me? Mo Salah ahead of Stevie G. You know what's funny with this kind of conversation, yeah? Listen, I ain't here to... I don't care what people think in that regards, but it's funny. Recently, if you guys, like I said, if you've watched my video, the Mo Salah versus Hazard debate, and you know any other debate that you see really with Mo Salah, right? What's hilarious about these debates is that Liverpool fans don't want people to say that Salah isn't the greatest, which is sorry, they don't want people to say they want people to say that Salah is the greatest, is what I'm trying to say, right? That's calm, that's fair, do your thing. But when you try to ask them, yo, who's better? Like, who's been a greater Premier League player, Gerrard or thing? Some people still say Gerrard. But then I'm like, that doesn't make sense if you then think Salah's the great. Like, Salah would have to, by default, be the greatest. Like, there is no Gerrard anymore. Gerrard is done, dusted. He's now kicked off the top now. It has to be Salah. For me, it's been Salah for a minute anyway. Once he won that one Premier League, I was like, all right, cool. Let's see what else he can kind of do. Like, the one Premier League, for me, just put him level. I was like, yeah, now you're level. Like, how can you not be level? Like, Gerrard has ability alone. Like, okay, cool, but you don't have the trophy to go with it. Okay, Salah has the ability. Now he got the trophy. But okay, we'll put you level because we're doing nostalgia and we'll do the whole, you know, oh yeah, but he had his team on his back. Salah had a better team. And Gerrard Gerrard didn't win trophies with the teams that he did have, though. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And I feel like that will always work against him because he's had teams where they were good. The Torres team, you know what I'm trying to say? The Suarez team. He's had teams in his period. Heck, even the team that we won the treble in 01, he's had teams. We can't act like this guy just, he's had bummy teams throughout the period, but he's also had periods of time when he could have won it and they didn't. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So, listen, neither here nor there. I'm not trying to, you know, crash it on either player. For me, it's Salah. And I think this season actually had no part to play in it. This season might cement it for other people, but for me, I'd had Salah ahead of him for maybe like a couple seasons now anyway. Because I was like, no one's doing it at this type of consistency level. And I don't think Gerrard, yes, he had his period where he was doing it consistently, right? But I just think that Salah was just, let me not even say a level above, because I feel like it's almost sounding like I'm trying to be disrespectful. I'm not. I just felt like both of them were level in terms of like the consistency levels that they've both obviously been able to achieve, right? But I just think in the last couple of seasons, Salah just went above. He just went above, man. It's just one of them kind of things. Like, being able to do it in a very good team is, for me, still hard enough to do. I don't see that much difference with being a good player in a shit team than being a good player or being a stand-up player in a good team. They're both difficult things to be able to achieve. So I don't place more merit on either or. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I kind of see them very, very equal. I know people don't, oh, he's playing with Ngog and that. And I'm like, yeah, but if you're still playing with ballers and you're the one who stands out, does that not mean that you must be a baller? Like, surely that it must mean something. Is it not easier to stand out in a shit team? Do you get what I'm trying to say? But again, like I said, I'm not trying to crash it on. Just one of them kind of things. But yeah, for me, Salah was always the better player. Like, overall, to be honest with you, I've just always had Salah there, man. Might be my bias, but I don't really care. It's my top 20. Number 7, we got Eric Cantona. Eric Cantona. This guy was an absolute maverick. He was a problem to the system. That's what he was. He was an actual problem to the system, to the English system. He was an absolute problem. Like, it's almost like they didn't know how to deal with him. Sometimes you sit there and think like, what do we do with this guy? Like, there's nothing you could do. There's nothing you can do. Leeds United won the first division. Manchester United, the next following season, he moves there, he wins the Premier League. Goes on to win about 4 or 5 Premier Leagues whilst he's there. This guy was immense, and he was a baller. Scored some stupid goals. Like, if you go back through his goal catalogue for Manchester United, and probably for Leeds as well, I haven't really checked it out for Leeds because I was a bit before my time, like before I was born. But if you just watch his goal catalogue, it's mad. 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 Like, but he was just too much of a problem. Do you know what I mean? Like, he was actually just too much of a problem. But he was such a good player, man. Honestly, I implore anybody who didn't really watch Cantona like that, go and watch Cantona. From 92 to 97, when he was at Manchester United, he was just a madman. He was actually a madman, like a proper madman. Do you get what I'm trying to say? But he was such a baller, though, man. Such a baller. Number six. I've gone with the Premier League's top goal scorer, and that is Alan Shearer. Alan bloody Shearer. Listen, if you need goals, this guy will get you goals. I'll tell you that. He'll get you goals. He'll get you goals. There's no two ways about it. Whether it be for Southampton, for Blackburn, for Newcastle, he will get you goals. When I'm looking here, 1, 2, 3. Let's even check the Premier League, actually. So in the Premier League, from what I can remember, now obviously, I remember Premier League used to play more games, so people will use that as a caveat. But either way, he's the only player recorded in the Premier League who has scored 30+ goals in 3 consecutive seasons in the Premier League alone. This guy, 171 games for Blackburn Rovers, 130 goals. He's got his Premier League medal as well. You get what I'm saying? Like, he is the Premier League's top goal scorer. Still, after all these years, you know what I mean? He last played football in 05, 06. We're now 24 going into the year 2025. We're touching 20 years or over of this guy. No one's been able to break that record. Listen, Shearer deserves his flowers. And in at number 5, I had to go with Ryan Giggs. I had to. I couldn't think of anybody else who has won as many trophies as him. So the trophies thing, his thing is so done that it eclipses everybody else. 13 Premier League titles, 4 FA Cups, 4 League Cups, 2 Champions Leagues, a Super Cup, a Club World Cup. This guy was on serious smoke. I remember there was actually a period of time, I think it was Juve. I feel like it was Juve or one of these Italian teams wanted to sign Ryan Giggs. And I remember this is a period of time where the Italian teams obviously were like, they were seen as like the kind of like pinnacle and stuff like that. But in the end, he never went. Like longevity, consistency, moved into midfield, like from a left, just like a buzzing left midfielder, should I say, into that central midfield, bossed it there in central midfield. Listen, man, again, just like JT, the man got onto off-field issues and that. But when we're talking about the player on the pitch, nah, man, Giggs was a baller, man. Giggs was a fucking baller. And again, I'm left-footed, so again, I'm a little bit biased with these things. But when I used to watch Ryan Giggs, I used to think, nah, this guy he's annoyingly good. He's like annoyingly good, man. Annoyingly good. But listen, have to put him there. Like that 13 Premier League titles, no one's matching that. I don't think anyone is. I actually don't think anybody is actually matching that kind of record. Like no one will have 13 Premier League titles. And you played in every single one. Like it's done. But let's go back through the 9 to 5. So of course, at number 9, we had Stevie G. Number 8, we had Mo Salah. Number 7, we got Eric Cantona. Number 6, we got Alan Shearer. Number 5, we have got Ryan Giggs. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Let's get down to the last 4. In at number 4, we've got Wayne Razza Rooney. Boy Wonder. Listen, you see the Boy Wonder thing? Yeah. That I've never seen that in Premier League. And I have to stress it because obviously we saw Lionel Messi. Premier League, I've never seen it. Never ever seen a Wonder Kid. Or was Wonder Kid even a thing when he was around? But let's just say it was. he would be one of those. But even then, would I even have called him a wonder kid though? Like, maybe, because the way people used to say that the way people spoke about him in the academy when he was at Everton, like, yeah, he was on stuff. He was on stuff, like, because he was so. You look at him there. I think he's under the age of 20 at this time, or maybe he's just about 20. But he looks like a fully grown man. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And he's playing against people who are like 30s and, you know, seasoned players in the Premier League, but he's bullying them. Rooney was a trap bully. He was a bully. He was mad. It was mad. It was mad. It was mad. Like, Wayne Rooney was one of those kind of players you just used to think, nah, you don't really want problems with this guy, you know. From the first day I saw him against Arsenal when he scored that banger, like, that was the first time, not the first time I'd seen him, but it was the first time I took notice of him. When he scored that goal, I was thinking, yo, okay, fairs, and he just went from strength to strength. Obviously, Everton, he was like, you know, when you say players not bigger than the club, bro, he was too bigger than that. He was way bigger than that. Went to Manchester United. I think he's their record goal scorer as well over there at Manchester United. Phenomenal. And he has got the longevity, he's got the career, he's got the goals, he's got the assists, he's got the individual awards, he's got everything. He's literally got everything that you would ask for from this thing. I had to put Wayne Rooney in there. Number 3, my favorite midfielder in the Premier League era, KDB. My favorite midfielder. There isn't any other midfielder I like more than KDB in all of the Premier League history. This guy is on the stupidest stuff. Like, I don't need to say too much, man. If you know, you know. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think most of you who are watching this, you know, KDB was on stupidness. He was on real stupidness. Like, and he has been. It's not really. It's only now in like the last season or two where he just picked up mad injuries and stuff like that. But when you've got like a catalogue of what he's done over the years and the goals and the way that he plays the pass, the guy is the second highest assist maker in Premier League history in only about like 270 odd games. And he's got about 100 and whatever it was. I remember reading the list and thinking, I think Ryan Giggs is top and he's second. I was like, and his number for games wasn't even as high as most of the people on the list. I was like, yeah, it's ridiculous. It's dumb. And like, end it all now, man. For me, he's the best midfielder I've ever seen in the Premier League. He had everything, man. And the thing is, people underrate that, the fact that he was like, oh, he's not really good defensively. Bro, he's better than a lot of people defensively. Then he's better than most people think anyway. But that's not really his game anyway. His game was further up the field. Phenomenal. Number two. This is why I say these debates are always funny. When you actually sit down and do a list, I actually thought that as well. I thought, nah, but like, obviously we'll talk about Salah and that. And like, nah, but Salah, you know, he's coming for Henry's crown. And obviously I made a little joke at the end of the last video. I was like, yeah, we're coming for Henry's crown. But when I then started doing this list, I was like, nah, I don't think you're even coming for Henry's crown like that. I can't even lie. Like, you're so far down the list that like for you to even get there, you'd have to start doing a madness, like a Messi level madness, which you're just not going to be able to do, kind of thing. And it is what it is. Ronaldo, though, when this boy came here into England from Portugal, and was it Man United played against Sporting Lisbon in a friendly, and then man said, "Nah, we got to sign him." Liverpool were trying to sign him. Yeah, that has got to be one of the biggest L's that Liverpool, probably the biggest L that Liverpool have ever taken, to not get Ronaldo. Obviously, we don't know how he would have turned out. Of course, you'll never know. And obviously, he joined like a machine, so maybe it both went hand in hand, kind of thing. But yeah, that's for me. That's probably one of the top 3 L's that Liverpool Football Club have ever taken. You know, not being able to sign Cristiano Ronaldo. You know, one of the greatest players of any generation. Let me not even say this. He's just one of the greatest players, bro. And I know people always, and this is why I said the debate with Salah and Thing. Ronaldo's got the trophies. On top of that, he's got the Ballon d'Or at Manchester United. Like, this guy was on shopping smoke at one. Like, his last like 2 to 3 seasons at Manchester United were just dumb. Were so dumb. It's like, and the thing is, it's like when he came back from that Euros, you know, the Euros where he did the wink with against England, Portugal versus England, and it was Euros. Yeah, it was Euros in the Euros. and he did that thing, and everyone hated him. Like, he looked different. And man came back. He just looked like, I don't know, like he grew a couple, like, you know what I mean, gone gym or he did something. Man just came back on some serious smoke. It was ridiculous. And he just went, it's like he just took his game. And that's where you really started to see like a player taking his game to the next gargantuan level that Real Madrid said we have to sign. Like, we have to sign this brother. The rest is kind of history. The guy's still playing now. Do you get what I'm trying to say? He's still playing today. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So, listen, man, has to be Ronaldo. For number one, number one, you already knew. For me, he's the greatest player to ever play in the Premier League. He's Vavavoom. That's all I can really say about Thierry Henry. Vavavoom. What's the French for Vavavoom? you know, like Henry's Henry. Like I don't know. Like, that's why I never really debated with people. I was like, Henry, it's hard to explain. And this is why the debates are always, they're a debate at the end of the day. You put your argument across. It's hard to explain what Henry kind of was when he came. Stats won't really do it justice, even though his stats are dumb. But stats can't really do what he was justice. Like, he was everything you wanted to be, you know, as a kid. You know, in terms of, he was cool, he was suave, but he was so good on the pitch. He was quick, he was skillful, he had an array of goals, you know, getting behind, 1-2 passing, free kicks, like long ranges, like the goal against Manchester United, you know, when I think he was wearing the Dreamcast kit, where he's I can't remember which play he was up against, and he's just kind of done we've seen the goal like hundreds of times, like, you know what I'm talking about. I think it was at Highbury. Like, he had this aura about him, and I know it's funny when we talk about auras and stuff. He had an aura that I don't think anybody else is going to be able to match, hence why I don't feel like anybody's going to be able to take that away. Obviously, there might be some player in the future, of course. I'm not saying that's impossible, but that's why with him, and again, if you want to use the stats thing, his stats are still better than most people's anyway, and his stats are so good that it puts him into that kind of level of whoever you want to kind of put in there with him. But it's just this aura around Thierry Henry, this kind of like elegance about this kind of guy that I've never seen with any other player. No player has ever had that. I don't know any player in the history of the Premier League anyway I've ever seen with that, ever. And I've not seen it now. I don't even see anybody who's even remotely close to having, you know, that kind of, you know, level of aura that, you know, Thierry Henry, you know, kind of possessed, you know, whilst here at Arsenal. So listen, for me, he's number one. For me, I don't see anybody else better than him as an overall player. There's some really good players on this list, and of course, you guys will let me know in the comment section as well who you guys think. But we're gonna go on to, in fact, no, let's do a little run through of the four. Obviously, fourth, we've got Wayne Rooney, Kevin De Bruyne in third, Ronaldo in second, and of course Thierry Henry in first. Just before we end the stream, I've obviously got my my Premier League 11. Now, obviously, this is just more about, you know, players that I would put in a Premier League 11. So again, let me know what your Premier League 11 would ultimately look like. So this is mine. So in goal, I've gone for Petr Cech. I think he's the best goalkeeper ever in the Premier League. Left back, of course, we've got Ashley Cole. Right back, I've gone with Kyle Walker. I think he just edges it for me. Defense, centre back was the hardest one in terms of Terry was always going to go in. It was between VVD and Rio. Obviously, Rio has the Premier League legacy in terms of he's been a better player and he's been more successful in the Premier League era than Virgil van Dijk. But I just think they're so similar. If I had to pick between the two, VVD for me just edges it, like just. Midfield, I've gone with a free Vieira in the DM position with Gerrard and KDB. The reason I've gone with Gerrard, I would have actually gone with Lampard, but I wanted more balance in that kind of midfield, and I feel like having Gerrard in there will provide me anyway with a level of balance in there. You could have gone with Lampard, could have gone with Scholes if you wanted to. I don't think it would have been too far-fetched really putting any of them in there. And then up front, I've gone with Henry, Ronaldo, and Salah. Can't think of anybody else. Who else would I realistically have kind of gone with as a front three? But let me know, of course, in the comment section, who would you guys have gone with for your Premier League 11? And as I've been saying throughout this whole video, and thank you to those who have spent almost nearly an hour watching this video, make sure you let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Cuss me if you need to cuss me. Say I'm chatting shit, say I have an agenda, I don't mind. Put a thumbs down if you have to. Please just make sure you engage with the video. It's been a long one, guys. I'm going to leave you guys to it. Watch this in your own time. I'll put the chapters out there so you guys can skim through this if you want, but just leave your thoughts in the comment section and I'll catch you guys on the other side. Peace.